wrote an article saying we should ditch the term because it has so many meanings. But we didn't ditch the term. We have to understand the different meanings. Narcissism has to do with the libidinal investment of the self, putting one's loving feelings in oneself. There's nothing wrong with that as long as you put them in others as well. So healthy narcissism, which we all, I hope, have, is feeling good about your own accomplishments, liking what you do, liking who you are, a realistic satisfaction in your life, not having excessive expectations, not belittling yourself, just a realistic satisfaction, contentment with who you are, the way you invest your energy in life and the results of that. Narcissism begins to get pathological when the libidinal investment, the loving feelings, are exclusively directed toward the self and don't also go toward the outside world, towards others. So somebody with narcissistic traits might be sort of a somewhat self-important guy. I'm going back to assuming it's a guy, who likes to be the center of attention, but, he uses his energy to run a successful business, and people are a little bit annoyed by his self-importance, but he functions with the world. He has a wife and a family and a business that functions. He might reap the benefits of his good feeling about himself, but when we have these narcissistic traits, we begin to see less of an emotional investment in those around the person. So he might not have the same level of intimacy and in-depth relations as somebody else, but he can have an okay life. What I call narcissistic personality disorder is when there's a specific psychological structure. At the core of personality disorders is the quality of one's sense of self and others. It's not just about emotional dysregulation, which is part of the picture, but who am I? The narcissistic self, what we call the pathological grandiose self, just takes in, sort of like a vacuum cleaner, it just absorbs everything that's supposed to be good and even ideal. That's me. Anything that's negative is seen as outside of the self. But the problem is that structure is a little hard to maintain because it doesn't correspond to reality. And yet, some narcissistic defenses are so strong that the person maintains their grandiose self against all odds. No matter what the world is telling them, they hold on to it. Whereas some other fragile, what we call thin-skinned as opposed to thick-skinned narcissists, as soon as something challenges their grandiose self-view, they fall into a million pieces and have to retreat to their isolation at home.